Let's get started, shall we? Unawat nibin petim ta. All pathways of heaven and earth are open to you. The powers within me to open all doors. I see this has had a lot of hits. Y'all been looking it up. Wonderful. The powers within me to open all doors in heaven and in earth. The powers within me to open all doors in heaven and in earth. The powers within me to open all doors in heaven and in earth. I am that I am, a shining being who lives in light, manifested from the limbs of the Creator. Look who, look who, Amiku, Keimam, Keperu, Emnichora. Powers within me to open all doors in heaven and in earth. All the powers within me. I will open the pathways of heaven and earth. The powers within me and you. Y'all know this song. Come on. Give thanks and praise for another day. Come through another season. Just come through our harvest. Please share. Please also subscribe. And please also know that your life is a blessing. Yes, indeed. I rise like the phoenix. I rise like the moon. I soar like the falcon, victorious. Sing with me. All of the pathways of heaven and earth are open to me. All of the pathways of heaven and earth are open to me. All of the pathways of heaven and earth are open to me. All of the pathways of heaven and earth are open to me. All of the pathways of heaven and earth are open to me. You sing. All of the pathways of heaven and earth are open to me. Give thanks and praise. Thank you so much for being here. And see what's happening with social media real quick. And actually, let me put on some meditation music for us because we're going to have a meditation today. And we're going to have a very powerful message. And I am, oh gosh, I've, let me just tell you, and thank you. Thank you so much. Love you too. Thank you. Please share that I am on the air. We're going to have a very powerful message. You can go home again. You can go home again. Smait. Smait means union or reunion. So, there's the saying, you can't go home again. Well, yes, you can go home again. And we'll be learning about that through the message of the story of Soniket. And so let's see, meditation music. Let me just put that in. There's a real advantage to having a flat screen TV right in here. I was going to set up in my sacred space but it doesn't have the same warm feel. Brandon, how are you? It's so good to see you. Wow. Did you grow facial hair? I see you have a mustache and a beard on your profile picture. Looks very good. Please share. Please share. Thank you. For unwanted infants. Here we go. Facebook with their ads. Okay. And so if you can see the pile of books that I have here, but I was saying, yeah, my sacred space tends to be a bit more austere. And I know you all are used to seeing all of the stuff in the background. Ah, Kem Sara Neferatum, blessings, Baraku, and blessings to you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to see you. Please share that we're here on the air. Um, where was I? Where was I? Let's start with opening prayer. I think I might just need to add this light over here. You'll just let me just step over here real quick. Just a little extra light. Should put that light on over there too. Well, anyway, all right. So I was saying, this is just this is warmer here, and yeah, I've moved since the last time you saw me, and so I mean, I was able to really. I used my living room space there on it's the same. It's like one building over, but um, yeah, I'm feeling that. I know that when I watch YouTube videos and people are sharing spiritual messages, there's something really special about being able to see the warmth of somebody's home. So here we are. You see that I've still got my grandmother's dining room set, with my mother's chairs that she added. And, in the corner there is where I have my sewing machine set up. And then I've got my harvest altar set up over there, where you can't see it, which is out of view. And then in my bedroom, I now have my library and my sacred space. It's the other reason I didn't want to set up in there either, because it is those are my sleeping quarters. But um, anyway, blessings have truly abounded. B Lotus, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you. Yeah, people are like, wow, you're really glowing. Well, I can tell you, I'm now finally divorced. All that drama is over, and just moving forward. Yes, moving forward. Very, very. Not only that, but let me just share with you also that I got initiated in Haitian Vodun a couple months ago. It was an ancestral calling, and it was vital in learning some elements about my family that I didn't know, because I'm not sure if you all remember, but my family has a very strong Latino heritage, if you will, Latin heritage. Haiti is considered part of Latin Caribbean culture because of the fact that while it is not a Spanish-speaking country, even though at first the Spanish invaders came and enslaved the Haitians, um, uh, French, the French came in next, and France, French is a Latin Romance language. Therefore, if it is based on um, it's not just no, William, wait, it's not. This is not like a new spiritual journey. Okay, this is like another step in my travels, if you will. All right, because I'm still Kemetic. I'm Kemetic all day long. All right, let's be very clear on that. That's my foundation. That's my filter. Uh, and and I also honor Orisha, uh, but honoring Loa was also part of my spiritual practice. Uh, but anyway, this was just another step that I needed for my healing and for my enlightenment about certain things that were going on in my family that I didn't understand. And now that I know that it's all directly tied into the Haitian tradition, it has given me a greater sense of understanding about myself and also completion. I really believe it's important to truly know who you are, all of the aspects of who you are regarding culture and spirituality, because those of us who have the lineages that are connected to enslavement um, from the European slave trade, um, many of our traditions were lost. And we found, or the naming of what it was, because I found out that even though it was, well, sometimes it was named. I mean, I found out that this was what my family did, but they were really on the surface mostly Christian. But there were certain things that happened, and I didn't know what it was connected to until I actually went through the initiation process. And when you go through the process and you see this and this, and you're served food, also that for me that was familiar to me. And I was like, I grew up eating this, you know, and uh, on and on. It answered so many questions for me about why we did certain things. But also, I was able to find out which loa were guiding my family. And with that tradition, and please forgive me because it's been a long time since I've been on the air, so if I'm not flowing with my speech, please forgive me. But it's believed that if you have a family that has been practicing, whether it's been openly or on the low, that there are particular loa guardians that govern the family, and being able to know and tap into that gives you even greater protection and insight and knowledge. And that's exactly what happened. So I'm grateful for that. But see, this is also like a Sankofa thing. And we're going to talk about the whole Sankofa experience through the message that we have today. Um, but um, I also want to say it was the toughest initiation I have ever gone through. The fact that I'm still alive says so much, because it is no walk in the park at all, at all. So just be aware of that. It truly ain't no joke. And um, the fact that I got through it tells me that I'm a lot stronger than I even knew that I was. And when I came back out of it, I said, you know what? Everything I've been going through, all the stress I've been under the past couple of years, I'm gonna get through this. And everything turned around after that. Boom, 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 boom. So that also led me to the initiation that I had just yesterday into the Order of the Eastern Star. So that is part of another part of the lineage. This is on my father's side of the family, although I have people on my mother's side of the family too who were in the Freemasons. But the ones with the most length and legacy in it were on my father's side of the family. The Haitian Vodun thing, and also not only that, but also the fact that I've got the Dominican blood, the Puerto Rican blood, um, along with this blood of being here for generations. That says so much. And so that's the maternal side. But the paternal side was, hey, you got to go this way. And I've always wanted actually to be an Eastern Star. But then I had a relative who was just like, no, I got it, not quit. And she was in it for a long time. And, uh, she said that she just burned everything, just got out of it, and just got really hot and heavy into the Christian church, which is fine. We all have our uh, times and places, and uh, we get what we need in that moment or in that season. But this was my season for this. And uh, the initiation was completely the opposite of the um, the Haitian initiation that I went through, which was very rigorous. I mean, truly, like I said, it's a wonder that I'm so blessed that I got out alive. And it's not like they try to kill you; it just feels like it sometimes. But uh, but with the OES or Order of the Eastern Star initiation, it was extremely powerful and meaningful, and um, it just felt like walking into a great big hug. And having come through all the paths and all the knowledge that I've attained, I have to say, I'm glad that it happened in this stage of my life because already I'm able to see, oh, this is this, and this is this. And even with the symbol of the upside down star, which people automatically assume is demonic, and that's not the case at all. You know, it reflects as above, so below. The star is above, and this is a reflection of it below. But from a comedic standpoint, it means something else. And uh, I'm sorry, I'm not going to share it with y'all. I'm going to share it only with my students. All right. And so, oh, by the way, if you're interested in learning the Comedic Water Path, then new classes are starting on Tuesday night. I have it listed on my website as starting. It was supposed to start yesterday, but I ended up getting initiated yesterday, and so I'm moving it to Tuesday night, and so I'll post the information. And also I want to tell you, I put the website back up for the temple. Some of you noticed, well, a lot of you noticed actually that I took it down, and so it's back up. But let me just tell you why I took it down. I took it down because I need a break. I really seriously needed a break. I needed time to heal. I needed time to decide exactly where this entity of Shenu was going, you know. And oh, Reed, thank you so much, thank you. Uh, I I had a lot of people who were pulling at me, but I needed to really go within and internalize, work on the healing process because I've been through a lot of trauma, and honoring your trauma is important. I've been in therapy for the last 3 years. I don't miss a session if I can. I mean, if I've only missed a few, and generally, you know, every week I'm there, and now I've added group therapy to that, um, and you know, through the same place I'm getting therapy from, you know, and connected with my therapist. And y'all know I've been really promoting the necessity of getting therapy when you are at a crossroads, when you've bottomed out, when you need an extra set of eyes and ears to be able to help you sort out things. And also when you get to a place where you're like, I'm just done. I'm not repeating the trying to avoid the word mistakes, but I'm not going to repeat what I just went through. I need to change my mindset, my vibration, everything that I feel about myself, and really examine my whole family structure, the environment that I've been in, the people I've been around, and really do a complete reassessment of who I am and who I'm supposed to be and where I'm going. That can come only through therapy. All right. Well, no, I'm not saying people can't get there on their own. But when you're in a place of trauma, a lot of times you need some help. You know, it's like if I broke my arm, I'm not going to sit here and try to fix my arm. That would make no sense. And So when it comes to a place where you feel broken, okay, um, and I just need to say it's not because I'm not in mourning about leaving a relationship. No. But finding that between my mother transitioning and then that happening and the health challenges, all of this stuff. Plus, I just found out also a couple months ago that my medication that I was taking for epilepsy was jacked up. Now, I'm not trying to tell people not to take medication because at the time I went back on it, I needed to because I needed to have that radical shift in my brain. But after a while, I realized that this stuff was poisoning me. And so I'm completely back on the holistic um, uh, thing, you know? That's my regimen now. I take 6 like multivitamins and supplements every day. My neurologist on my last visit was shocked because I'm not the same person that he met a year ago. And um, so uh, all of this has come together in such a good way that has finally pushed me to a point of kerep, which is clarity, and um, seneb, which is finding healing and soundness, and um, of course, Charme, peace and freedom. And so I can say that even especially after yesterday's initiation, there was this whole energy of light, lightness that I mean that's who I am. That just a kind of a restoration. Chabu. Chabu is the word for restoration. Wow, for the support. Thank you so much, Brother Jackson. And Belotus says, I recently did the same. Starting a new vitamin routine has helped so much. Right? Yeah. We always say Sajaman Kat. Sajaman Kat means listen to the body. And so, again, I'm not telling people to go off their medication. That would be highly irresponsible. And again, at the time that I was on it, it was necessary. And it, kickstarted me in the way that I needed to be. And then my body said, okay, enough, enough. Okay. So, all right, let's get started with prayer. I've got this lovely meditation music on in the background. I only hope that YouTube does not come on with some ads. Okay. So I'm now a Manbo, in addition to everything else. I'm an elder high priestess in the Kemetic tradition. I am a Nanga in the Shona and the Bele tradition. I am a Nanga in Haitian Vodun, and I am a traveler in the Order of the Eastern Star. Let me just focus on this, okay? Okay. And let me just also say another thing that I really found out through this, because a lot of times you really wish to avoid the hills and valleys, and yes, certainly there have been things that I've examined where I could have just like sidestepped some stuff because your intuition is there for a reason. It's there to guide you, uh, to warn you. And when you don't pay attention to it, then you can find yourself in some circumstances that are uneasy, very difficult to get out of. It takes a lot longer to untangle a mess and or a challenge, and it's better to stop and think. This is a comedic um, way to not rush into something, uh, but also to stop and think, to consider, you know, every step, every step. All right. And I also have to say that my perspectives have changed on so very many things. So, I've been in this process of reconfiguring, rewriting, reproducing, and I'm very glad that this has been a period of transformation, um, because of the responsibility that goes along with what you put out into the world. That's also why it was necessary for me to wait. Yeah. Well, also, I had a couple of babalao who told me, you need to pull up off of coming on for a while because you need to just give yourself time. And then also, I was told, you're putting out too much of your personal information, and also you're putting out too much of like inside information that other people are stealing. That was stress to me a lot. So, so anyway, now I'm glad to be back. You have a glass of water handy. You can speak some loving words into the water. Anuk Mer, I am love. Anuk Nefer, I am good, beautiful, and successful. Anuk Kut, I am light. Anuk Kutenmer, I am light, vibrating out love. Anuk Ardi, I am stable. Hmm. Anuk Ardi, I am secure. Reki im ebi, I know my heart, I know my mind, I know myself. Keperni chess, I create myself. Anuk web, I am pure. Anuk web, Anuk web. I know many of us have trouble with the challenges in life and think that we are so unclean. But deep down in your soul is clean. And if you're feeling that you are separated from that clean soul, then know that you can pull that pure, clean energy in. You can change. You can remember who you are. Because ultimately, as we believe, the Necheru, or the divine forces, the divine unlimited forces, exist within as well as without. You have the power to change your life. You say, I have the power to change my life. Drink. Give thanks. Wave me. Ujani. Hekni. Jedni. Anuk Sejemen. Duau. Meaning, cleanse me, heal me, guide me, speak to me. I am listening. Many thanks. In in, in. Water is the best. It is absolutely the best. And I knew I forgot something. Before I go over to my ancestor altar, let me just do a general prayer for us. In, in, in. Dua unecheru, dua yaku, dua shepsu. We thank you so much for this time and for the chance to gather, to learn, to love, to live. We ask you to bless this session. Bless everyone who is listening in the way that you best see to suit them. And we ask for you to continue to expand this ministry. Thank you for the time of healing and reasoning and clarity that I've been through, and continue to use me as a humble vessel for your use. Duau, duau, duau. Okay. Grab my ancestor. Give thanks to the ancestors, to the ancient ones. Giving thanks. Mchertu, degasnu duau. To the ancients, to the ancestors. We follow your footsteps. Many thanks to you. Erjanuku, Ernuku. You give us light, we give you light. Sechnu kebu, we pour libation. Ishkanu, we remember you. Heru renu echenu, we speak your names. Simmons, Blackman, Pridgeon, Exum, Artist Whitley, Artist Ortiz, Aldrich, Anderson, Lloyd Yates, McLaughlin, Myers, Murray, Moses, Salmon, Mayfield. Please call out the names of your ancestors, from the last names, from the surnames. That is something important that you should memorize. If you don't know your lineage, then learn your lineage, because that's the best way that you can remember those who have gone before, but also to call upon them for their help, the ancestors of light. Remember, death does not make you wise, and so you want to pray for those who are not in the light or who are kind of iffy. Pray for the elevation of all of your ancestors. But the Iaku are the ones who walk closest with the divine light to the divine creator, creatrix energy. The Shepsu are the ones in light who walk closest to us. And praying that you all have a really wonderful relationship with your ancestors. And it's never too late. Sometimes it's a foreign concept to many people, but your ancestors are here to help you, and we are here to help them. As they do works for us, we we are helping them, and as we pray for them and pour libation to them, we're helping to elevate them. And so I want to do the prayer for Beset and Besu, who I generally open with, but I want to take a little moment to explain about the importance of them. In Orisha culture, we know about Eshu and Alegba, and if you don't know them, then they are the openers. And the first pouring of libation always go to the door openers. Well, originally, Kemetic tradition, that is Beset or Bezet, Ibesu and Besu. And uh, Beset or Bezit, she is the one who creates the portal to be opened. And then Besu is the protector who takes you safely through. But also, they will close doors for you as well. Sat Ishyom, I see you. How are you? Hoping that all is well. Give thanks and praise. Yunherech beset, Yunherek besu, ek yuni yunim katni, anuk beseti besu. Barakani enechenu, I bow to you. Barakani, bless me. Yun eni beset besu nefer iwadu nefer nebu. Open for me, beset, all good doors and good roads. Wep wat beset im wepti. Open the way, beset, in my business and income. Beheni besu im besa. Cover me, besu, with your panther skin. Behen besu hauni I hetdu. Cover besu, my family and our home. Sebek bet yuni, cause my enemies to flee. Duau en en en. The 42 principles of my eight. This is the evening, and so we will be doing the evening version of it. In the morning, we say, I have not done wrong. No, I will not do wrong. In the evening, we review, we say, I will not I'm sorry, I have not done wrong. And of course, when we're in the evening doing this and reviewing the day, we meditate on what exactly didn't go right. And we forgive ourselves. Self-forgiveness is very important. If you stay stuck in guilt, especially if the guilt is not yours, that's the thing to examine. You have to know what to own and what not to own. It's important to be honest with yourself and recognize when you have to take responsibility for something. But then when you're in trauma, a lot of times you can end up taking on blame that is not yours for mishaps that have gone on. So, however, in dealing with the 42, we take an honest assessment, and what we've blown, we really think about, we internalize, and then we have another shot the next day. That's the beautiful thing about the Kemetic tradition. And I found Believe it or not, this is also the belief in the Haitian Vodun tradition. So a lot of similarities. See, this is where it's really excellent to be able to be exposed to a lot of different paths, especially in the ATRs, because you get to see where they converge. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Give thanks and praise for the divine principle of my eight: harmony, reciprocity, balance, order, justice, higher love. We ask that you govern this session and also that you help us to have a greater understanding of these divine principles, even as the day comes to a close for so many of us. I have not done wrong. I have not stolen. I have not immersed myself in depression. I have not violated another being physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. I have not hoarded, disrespected, abused, or misused the land, nor deprived my loved ones and community of a proper inheritance. I have not wasted precious food. I have not wasted precious water. I have not jealously desired to obtain that which is not mine. I have not eavesdropped or pried into matters outside the dictate of nature. I have not defiled or debased my purity. I have not abused my sexuality. I have not engaged in infidelity with another man or woman's mate. I have not engaged in sexual fantasies or sexual acts with a child. I have not caused needless terror. I have not been arrogant and egoistic. I have not acted with selfish, destructive aggression. I have not cultivated a quarrelsome nature. I have not taken a life outside of my age, nor disrespected the life force. I have not caused the shedding of tears. I have not sown seeds of regret. I have not mistreated children and have provided proper guidance and protection. I have not mistreated animals and have given proper respect. I have not been vengeful and angry except for a just cause within my eight. I have not been easily incited to action or contention. I have not upheld an untruth on or against someone else's behalf. I have not lied. I have not raised my voice unnecessarily. I have not spoken maliciously against another being. I have not exaggerated. I have not talked too much. I have not acted with sneaky manipulation. I have not been impatient or judged in haste. I have not entertained impure thoughts. I have not wished evil upon another being. I have not performed negative energy work. I have not turned my ears away from words of truth. I have not desecrated holy places. I have not desecrated holy traditions. I have not stolen from or neglected giving to the temple offerings. I have not robbed from the deceased. I have not blasphemed the Most High Nature. I have not betrayed my venerated ancestors. I'm giving thanks and praise. At this time, we're going to review Menku, correct actions. These are the principles uh, that go along with Yuga or Yuge or Ika, which is Kemetic yoga, at least as practiced in Shenu. And Menku is important because it really helps us to hone in a more specific way on or expand the values that are stated in the 42. So, my eight, integrity and reciprocation, standing up for and doing what's right. Two, my eight shares my eight, consistency. Three, makeru, truthful and correct speech, keeping your word. Four, and nen, reliable, unfailing, being reliable and unfailing, um, um, without absence, showing up. Imak imau, respecting boundaries. Imak unut, respecting time. Tenui, confident maturity. Kem, appropriate behavior, including protocols, consideration, mindfulness. Degeg, to examine, critical thinking. Nen irdat, not allowable. Living according to a high standard, and that's associated with this symbol here, which is for nit, and it means no. You ain't getting in unless you live according to these high standards. And once you prove yourself and you live up to those standards, then I'll let you in and I'll hook you up and connect you in all the ways that you need to. But in the meantime, you've got to make sure that you cut certain things off, cut certain situations, certain people off in order to elevate yourself. Because after all, if you don't watch it, you can become what you don't want to be. You have to make sure that you communicate to others that you have high standards. And I mean, that's another reason why I also joined the Eastern Star, because I wanted to be around other women who were living according to high standard and also who were serving community. But in addition to that, I've had a whole year to check out the lodge and the brothers who are in the Freemasons, and so everything was cool. And I found that everybody had a certain way they carried themselves, and that they also lived according to a certain standard, and that certainly jibed strongly with my spirit. So make sure you remember that. Maintaining your standards, yourself, and also in terms of who you allow into your space, and also the actions that you take. Wuje, high vibratory discretion and moderation. Iyut, dignity. Ibwab, a clean body. Ibhibes, clean clothing. Het wab, or wave actually. I still keep falling into that practice of saying wab instead of the long A sound. It's supposed to be wave. Het wave, clean home. Ardi, mental, physical, and financial stability and security. Erit menket, doing the very best work and workmanship. Kenti, leadership. Kepernefer, create beauty, goodness, and success. Keperhetep, create peace and calmness. Eri nin ifa, act without greed. Peshkau irek, share provisions and knowledge and wisdom. Sarit, kindness. Nehat, mercy, compassion, forgiveness. Hek kredi emmaet, properly guiding children. Kefaeb, loyalty, devotion, commitment. Senenui nefer, good companions and associations. Imak ubutu, respect elders. Imaku iaku, respect ancestors. Meri rech, loving mankind. Now that first section was in Menku, it was yam, yam, which means to tie, to bind, to set fire to, or kindle, graciousness. Appropriate restriction to motivate and create a gracious character. Pertains to how one conducts and projects him or herself out into the world. And now we have Yamni. Yamni is personal discipline and insights for accountable character building. Imak Nitshir, respect nature. Desh en Nitshir, yielding the most high without and yielding to the most high without and within. Imak Yaku Ishapsu, honor ancestors of light. Mer Ankek, love your life. Mer Katek, love your body. Wus Ibek, broaden or expand your mind, willingness to learn. Ib Ube, willingness to work. Ankh Ma'et, honest living, living truth. Teni, accountability. Yehuches, self-discipline, self-mastery. Sejamen, listen. Sharer menu, daily prayer. Kat menu, daily meditation. Kebet menu, daily exercise. Chefaseneb, healthy food. Ibi web, clean mind and intentions. Eri chau enech, create healthy family, mate relationships, loved ones, neighbors. Nime shenu, build harmonious circles of family, loved ones, friends, associates, and neighbors. Imak ubutu, respect elders. Wuhe nin dehu, release the unnecessary. You know, we say wuhe, wuhe, I release, I release, I release. Seksek sepu seb, overcoming bad habits. Ked, plan and manifest goals. Kesu seshet, rite of passage. Now that's important because we think of being engaged in certain African ceremonies or healing ceremonies or rites of passage ceremonies only at certain times of your life. But truthfully, this is something that should be engaged in over and over and over as we come into the different phases of life. That's from childhood into becoming an elder. Sianefer, positive perspective. Sebet, to smile. Smile, laughter. Per echat, courage, self-confidence, strength, conviction. Neken, humbleness and modesty. Heri, finding peace with yourself in all circumstances. Meri, being someone worth loving. Let me say that one again. Meri, being someone worth loving. We say, there are some of us who will say, oh, I want to be loved. But if you have a deplorable character, then you're only going to attract somebody who's either deplorable or somebody who has pity on you and who you're going to end up breaking down, and that's not right. So what you need to do is make sure that you love yourself and that you have the reasons to love yourself and that others have the reasons to love you as well. And in sincerity, not from some kind of a superficial place where you've got like 3 different personalities going, okay? Because my age means consistency. And in the book of Patakotep, it talks about the importance of being consistent in all that you do. But that also means in all that you are. All that you are. So it shouldn't be that you're around one person and you act one way. Then you get around another person and you act another way. Are you putting on a false face? Are you being whoever you just need to be in the moment just to get what you want? Are you insecure about who you are and unsure of who you should be in the moment? This is where it's important to know yourself. Reki im ebi. I know myself. And so this same person is going to show up in every place, every situation. And finally, Nechamit Seneb. Health conscious sexual pleasure. Well, for me, I'm celibate and happily so. And excuse me, have been since the end of 2020. And that's what works for me. It works for me. Until something else changes, some special person comes along, but I'm not looking for that right now. I'm still working on myself. But even so, the harnessing of sexual energy and understanding its power is significant. And if you're a spiritual person, then it's necessary for you to really learn about all of the, excuse me, all of the ways that sexual energy is to be honored and utilized, but also knowing that it is intimacy and it is soul connection with either your partner or especially the divine, and also with your higher self if you're doing it within a place of higher spiritual consciousness. And ideally, you should be. Otherwise, you can harness the energy. And this is what really the great spiritual leaders or teachers or practitioners do. where you understand that it's not living from a place of I gotta have it. What are you doing and why? By harnessing it and placing the energy or sending the energy to other aspects of your life, especially in your spiritual development with the Most High, then you find that you will raise your vibratory level. You will come to greater levels of illumination, and you'll find that your psychic energy from the wujat, from your first eye, um, grows like sometimes tenfold. And for those of you who have my books, then you can find the list of Menku. Some of you have ordered the chart, and Menku is it's really important to take some time to meditate on it at some point every day, so it becomes blood and bone. Okay, give thanks. All right, let's get into our message. Should have given myself some more water. Excuse me. Yeah, give thanks also, even though I'm losing my voice right now for some reason. I'm gonna have to go grab some water. Oh wait, I've still got my coffee here. Give thanks. I made this coffee blend that has the almond eggnog. There's no egg in it. It's a product they sell at Whole Foods. But that, along with like pumpkin spice and stuff, it's oh so good. William, you're saying is what the cat image? When I was talking about Besu, Bast is a later aspect of Besit. When I was talking about Besit and Besu. So sometimes she's depicted as a cat. She is also described as a fiery serpent goddess. She is a shapeshifter, just like Besu. But Bast came later. Bast or Bastet, who represents home and hearth, as do Besit and Besu. But well, the three of them also have in common soul retrieval. It's highly significant. Okay, so let's get into our message. And excuse me. Now, what I've shared regarding um, returning Sankofa. Many of us know Sankofa to mean go back and get it. Go fetch it. It is the bird that is flying forward, but is looking over its shoulder toward its back with a seed of remembrance in its mouth. But is also in the present. In the present. So you have past, present, and future that is depicted in Sankofa. Sometimes we can feel as though we've lost our way because we are disconnected from the source. For people who say move to another city and move away from your family, you know what that feels like. Remember what that feels like. If you've had a really good family experience. For others, it's a brand new thing. That's wonderful because the fact that you need to get away from your family. That's very individualistic. But then also those who went to college and experience being away from home for the first time, experience being homesick. Even think about like when you were small, for those of you who went to sleepaway camp and you had to deal with being around other people who were different than you and not having the comfort of home and the food that you're used to. We have so many varying circumstances that uh, take us out of our comfort zone, which is good because it helps us to grow and expand your mind. It gets you out of xenophobia. Xenophobia is where everything is just centered on that one location that you know, and therefore you base everything off of what you know in that way from that, as opposed to um, um, uh, staying stuck in closed mindedness and uh, and also though as opposed to those who are adventurous and all the time looking to expand what they know, expand their territory. Uh, all of these can sometimes be at war with each other, and we need to find a happy balance. But then again, you can have situations where your work takes you away. You may leave the country, never mind leaving the state or your town. It may be that you have to leave the country, and now you're thrust into a whole different world. Culture, traditions, these are associated with what you are familiar with, the patterns or the patterning that has come up through family, through community, the things that you do at a certain time, certain holidays you may have, certain foods that you eat, certain beliefs that you carry, certain ways that you dress. And for those of us who go into different spiritual traditions, you find, okay, well, this is what's acceptable. This time of year, you're supposed to wear this. Uh, okay, so we've just come through and just ended our ancestor season in the Kemetic tradition, which is Hebwegu. It starts beginning of Weprin Put, which is the end of July, beginning of August. When we've come through our 42-day phase of cleansing, and it usually lines up with the rising of uh, um, the halakhical cycle with the star of Septet rising, and then goes all the way until November 2nd, which is known as All Souls Day. Uh, but some traditions, it continues on. In Haitian tradition, ancestor season is with the Gedes, and that is all of November. Some people just honor the Gedes during uh, November 1st, November 2nd, but in Vodun, they're noticed that they're honored all throughout November. So you have the variables, right? And how you adjust, um, why you may end up staying in that situation. It's dictated by various life circumstances. So the tale of Soniket. Comedic stories are so rich, and as a storyteller, I can tell you that I find that it's very true when they say that the stories that people tell reflect their values, their traditions, their beliefs, and these stories were told in order to help people get a clue as to how they were expected to behave, teaching morality as well. And so in this story, we have the would-be prince known as Soniket. And it seems that there are those scholars who are of the belief that he actually was the son of Amenhat, Prince Amen. In fact, I have this. Yeah, Amenhat. Uh, One of his books is here. Let's see if I can find it for you. I should have had it marked. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Yes, here we go. I'm in a hot. The first. That's on page 26, where you'll see the teachings of that in this book. It's backwards here, but this is the teachings of Amin and Apet. This is not Amin and Hat. Um, two different individuals. But in the book of Amin and Hat, it is also a book of moral instruction. So anyway, just to pull that back up, that's page 26. I actually love that book, but my favorite book is Amin and Hat. It's got a bunch of different books in here, but this one happens to be one of this one happens to be a really good one too. And with these teachings, here we go. So teaching of Amin and Hat. So these are really rich moral teachings too, for those of you who have this book. Okay. So it's believed that Sanaket was the son produced through a concubine. And he was loyal, he was devoted. He was still a prince because of the fact that no matter, even if it wasn't like through the first wife, he still was the son. So he had cred, but not as much cred as his older brother. And so, and by the way, Son Neket means son of the Neket, which is the sacred tree of life, one of the names for it. Okay, there's significance in that. Okay, turn the music down just so it's because I need to focus a little more. Okay. All right. So Sanaket's father dies, and even though he's been very peacefully in the kingdom, and he has also been a warrior, and he's been a protector, and he's just been utterly loyal in his service to his father's kingdom, he panics when his father dies. So much so that he decides that he needs to run away. And the speculation is it's probably because he was afraid of his older brother killing him, to make sure that the older brother would be able to completely take the throne. So Sanaket, he bolts and he runs away in what seems to be a cowardly fashion. He ends up running away to a foreign country. Now, in the land of the Tamahu. So some say that is referring to Libya, where the traditions are completely different. The way that people were buried, they didn't get the big royal deal. Not that everybody did, but royalty indeed got a big to do when it came to the way they were buried. In this country, they were buried wrapped up in sheepskin. There they grew their hair very long, whereas in Kemet they shaved everything. They wore long wigs, but they did not grow out their hair. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that they were conscientious about cleanliness. There were sand fleas, and if you had a lot of hair, it just attracted sand fleas. So they were more likely to just shave their heads, including the women, and wear wigs. Okay. So of course the food was different, the clothing was different. But this is where Sanaket ran away to. Now, the king of the territory where he ran to had heard of Sennacherib, which is another reason why it's believed that he was definitely uh, royalty, because why else would he be heard of? And so here's the unusual thing, and there are a couple of interpretations on this story and on this slant. Now, if you read one of the translations, it really emphasizes the fact that this king is so completely taken by Sennacherib that he says to him, "No, no, no, don't be afraid." He says, "And don't run any further. Stay here with me. Stay. Let me love you. I will take care of you. Don't worry. I will protect you, and you'll be a good companion to me. And if you are worried about anything, you need not worry because I got you. And if you decide that you want a family, I'll let you have one of my daughters. You can marry her and have as many kids as you want. But just stay with me. Don't leave my side. Don't leave me." Cat basically was thinking, I'm in a foreign country. The king is interested in me. All right. So he went for it. Now, surely enough, he ends up with one of the king's daughters. And from there, they have many children. He has a huge family. Now, the king goes ahead and appoints him with this very prestigious job, all this responsibility, throwing all this money at him. Well, not they didn't have not money, but the equivalent of just abundance, abundance, abundance. Not needing for a thing. Lavish, lavish life. And at one point, because he was in a war situation, he found himself in an encampment tent, and another foreigner came and entered the tent and tried to overtake him. But surely enough, he was protected. So that didn't happen. He ended up becoming safe. A lot of things are implied here. A whole lot of things are implied. Many years pass. Sennacherib has not forgotten his home. He has not forgotten the ways of Kemet. And he had to ask himself, am I still myself? Have I compromised who I am? Have I compromised my traditions, my beliefs of the beloved Kemet that I came from? That is, and all those beliefs that are in me, all the traditions, and who am I? Even though I am dressed in the apparel of these foreigners, even though I have taken on their ways, is this who I am? Have I compromised my morals for the sake of so-called safety? Who am I really? And he retired from his post that was given to him. And he decided, I know who I am. Reki im ebi, I know myself. I'm a man of Kemet. That is where I was born and bred. And those beliefs and values I still hold dear. I have to walk away from this. And so he sent a message to the new ruler of Kemet. And, it's not really made totally clear as far as if it was his brother or not who ended up taking over. It had to be one of his relatives. But anyway, and he basically asks for mercy and says, listen, I was a coward. I was wrong. I shouldn't have just fled. I should have been a man and I should have stood up to the task in seeing what my role would be in my father's new administration. And I should not have been afraid. I shouldn't have left. And I want to come home. Can mercy be found so that my return may be possible? He sends this message with a courier. After some time, the courier comes back, and the ruler says, "You can come home. You are still a son of Kemet, and come back to the home of your gods. Come back to the land where the various gods will welcome you and embrace you, because they're deep in you. They've not left you, really. Just come home. Yes, you can come home safely. You don't have to worry. And here you will be loved. And you do not have to worry about being disgraced in a foreign land where you will be buried in sheepskin and with long hair, and all that is foreign to you, that will have you die and buried in disgrace. You will not be disgraced. Come home." Well, Soniket is so shocked at the response. He's humbled by it. He ends up falling on the ground, and throwing dirt on his hair, which is like sort of one of the like customs when of when you are again humbled and overjoyed. And then he gets up and he starts dancing like he does what's akin to like shouting, the church shout. And then he had the courier take down his reply, thanking him and saying that he cannot believe how gracious he is being. And now, in one interpretation, it says that he says, my lord, meaning my king, who am I that thou art mindful of me? It sounds familiar, yes? Let's trace back to here first. Who am I that you are so mindful of me and being so gracious to me? Because also he's lost some esteem because he's been away and he's not been surrounded by people who celebrate the way that he celebrates, who live the way he lives. He already left in disgrace. And even though he was elevated in this place, this strange land, still he felt disconnected from himself. He was lost. Who am I? Where am I supposed to be? Why did I really leave? What was it that was lacking in my heart that forced me to believe that I should flee? Who am I that thou art mindful of me? So he makes preparation for going home. He visits his sons in different provinces because they're now grown, established, and he separates all of his property amongst his children and very humbly leaves. Goes back to Kemet, goes to the court of the ruler who told him, come on home. And in some stories, it says that he shows up, he came back with his wife and all of his kids. But in another, it says that he shows up alone. And the king and the people who knew him are staring at him like, who are you? And it took them a little while to figure out that he was who he said he was. I am Soniket. And he just looked so different. Long hair, different clothing. Plus, he had aged, of course, and life had pretty much started to beat him down because before he left, he was saying, "Listen, I'm old. My body's beat up, and I don't want to die here. I don't want to die here." He knew it was knocking on on the on the door of the next life. So uh, yeah, so this much aged man, so differently dressed, and even in his behavior was so different. They were like, "This cannot be who he says he is." Finally, they realized, yeah, it was. So yeah, he was welcome back, and they took some liberties and busted on him. Okay, because he was just so different. But he was welcomed back, and the king actually gave him a high position, and had a merkut, or pyramid, a burial pyramid built for him as well, and that's where the story basically ends. So, going home, I shared with you about how I felt a sense of reunion in coming to a greater understanding of some of the ancestral traditions that my family practiced. But it also gave this reviewing this story also gave me a chance to think about the journey that we experience spiritually. We can end up in one place and then end up going here and here and here and here and here and here. And if we are able to hold on, if we are able to gain strength, wisdom, insight, and above all, a stronger relationship with the Most High, it could bring us back here. How many of us find ourselves wandering off purpose as opposed to being on purpose? Allowing our fears to take us away from what actually could have been an even better situation had we stayed. Now, this is not to say that Sanaket did not gain a lot of insight and wisdom from his experience in running away. However, it took him years and years and years to finally gain the courage and the wisdom to really look at the whole situation and to realize that he had been missing home for a long, long time. And then to have the courage to leave everything that he had acquired in this new place behind. Why? So that he could restore himself, to his people, to his ways, his traditions, to his home. How many of you relate to this story? I do. Been a lot. I've been through an awful lot. I've seen an awful lot. And when you are distressed about not being where you really, really want to be, then it can cloud your decision making. This is going back to the whole thing about trauma again. When you're fearful, you can end up making some decisions that are not necessarily the best ones. Why? Because you are not centered, you are not still, you are not focused, you're not really thinking because your thinking is clouded. Now, for all the places that you end up in life, for better or worse, we take the jewels of wisdom that come along with them. Yes, we can have regrets, but it is through the inspection of why we have regrets that we learn. Ain't gonna do this again. And sometimes you decide to move to a new city. Okay, didn't work out. Sometimes it's a great fit, all right? Or maybe you get there and you find you fall in with the wrong crowd of people. Not that you knew it from the beginning, but then you come to find out that you're surrounded by folks who just have nothing to do with any aspect of your life except you're occupying the same space. And you can feel stuck. A lot of people get stuck in various relationships, whether it's on the job, whether it's personal, where you feel like, you know what, I don't have any choice on how to get out of this. But if you open your mind to the possibilities instead of keeping it closed, we were talking about Beset or Besit and Besu before. Besit, she's the one who opens the portals. She creates the portals, okay? The one who guides you through is Besu. Why is it important to have a guide? Because if you are going into uncharted territory, then you need to have somebody who's going to give you advice and protect you. All right. This is just like if you decide to just up and move someplace and you don't do the research and find out where you're going. I moved to Phillipsburg, New Jersey back in 85. My children were small because I wanted them to live in a more rural suburban setting, somewhere between the two. Okay. Great house, beautiful house. Okay. And the ride out on the highway to get there was just glorious, just rolling hills and all this. And it wasn't until after signing the lease on this beautiful house with a fabulous rent that we started riding around and said to the kids, okay, let's find out where we moved to. And there were rebel flags everywhere. I had no idea that I had moved my family to Klan country. Although, in all honesty, I was not the one who found the ad in the newspaper. It was my second husband at the time. But anyway, I said yes. So, but while at first I thought, oh Lord, what did I do? The truth is that it made my children and me even stronger in knowing who we were, affirming who we were, and not letting ourselves get browbeat, insulted. We ended up being respected because of the fact that we did not take any guff. And now I'm not saying that I was out in Phillipsburg trying to start any really adverse extra problems. Just wanted to live life peacefully there. And for the most part, I did. And my kids too. They got the better education and all of this. And my daughter was voted the very first Black student council president in middle school. And then also when she got to high school, she was voted student council president again. Things can change, and that's mostly because kids are malleable, all right? But I did tell my kids, when you graduate from high school and you go to college, don't come back here. And truly, by the time my younger daughter got into college, got the heck up out of Phillipsburg and moved someplace else. So you know, there are pluses, there are minuses, and you know, it's a matter of also making the best of the situation that you're in. Um, but ultimately, after moving to Phillipsburg, then to Allentown, PA, then to Philadelphia, Trenton, Elizabeth, which is where I was born, and then other places, just I mean, 'cause ultimately I ended up back up in this area, okay, and in this area is where I was born. Did I ever expect to end up back here? Oh no, because a big part of me was running because I wanted to try to create something different. I was too afraid of having a small life, and I did not want my children to have a small life. So it's been a lot of adventure, but the fact is, I realized the family is important. And living in isolation where you're constantly making friends with new people as opposed to having that connection with your family is not really a good thing. Now, listen, don't think I'm saying that if you've got a family that's really jacked up, that you need to partner yourself with that. Sometimes it's a matter of you having to go away and separate yourself from whatever's going on in order to get strong enough to come back and deal with them. And, maybe time will bring change and it will become a good sense of a good fit for reunion. All right. There are times though where it just not gonna happen. All right. It'd be better to stay away. But overall, I hope that you follow what I'm saying. This story of Sonic is so rich because the fact that we have so many of us who are separated from who we are regarding our traditions, um, regarding what we will accept in materialism, creature comforts, and the supposed security we believe that we have. But we're not really growing uh, in terms of learning who we are, in terms of having a greater connection with the divine. So, the thing that I really love about the story is the way that it ends because we get to see him welcome back. And this is considered an historical story. It's not just one of the fanciful tales that come out of Kemet. But we see as he's recounting the story to the king and trying to justify, yeah, I'm Sonic, and this is what happened to me. We see that going home is possible. As disconnected as you may feel that you are, now let's look at that from a spiritual standpoint. A lot of people are out here lost and wandering, disconnected from the source that is without but also is within. Why? Because we've lost touch with that light. We have a society that bombards us with so much garbage, so many patterns that are unlike who we really are or who we really truly want to be and know that we are or know that we're destined to be. So it's a constant battle. Where am I supposed to be? Who am I? How did I get yanked over here? And how do I get back to the path? Sonic was honest with himself. I mean, he could have just gone on lying to himself, just, being in misery the rest of his life, receiving the glorious funeral that was at a standard that was far beneath what he was accustomed to. Still would have been with honors, but wanted to be home. Wanted to be home. How many of you feel that way? How many of you feel as though you've lost your way? You've been traveling out on this journey. Can't quite figure out where to land, who you are. Maybe you've had some people come into your life who pulled you off into another direction because they knew where you were supposed to be, but they couldn't stand seeing the fact that you were so happy. They couldn't stand seeing the fact that you had a self-assurance and assuredness, and that you were on purpose. There are some people who are very happy to pull you off course because they see who you are and they wish that they had what you had. So instead of working and striving to be in that place, they will go out of their way to yank you off course. Okay. Does that mean that you're gone forever from your course? No, it does not. One, do you know your destiny? Two, do you know your legacy? Three, what is your purpose? Do you know your purpose? Four, are you willing? Do you have the desire to be on purpose? And five, do you care enough about yourself to get yourself or let others help you get back to who you really are? I've had therapy and I'm continuing in therapy. Love my therapist. I have gotten my health situation holistically back on point so that my mind is clear, clear, clear. I have done a lot of internal examination and have honored that process. I've reflected back, looking forward, and living in the present. And I understand what is necessary for me to pull from my past into my today. And when I say my past, I mean the wisdom of everything that's happened to me. I mean the wisdom that has come from my ancestors and from my family, and also from my positive community. Positive community. Spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. Pulled it into my today. And based on that, casting it forward into my future. Why? Because I remember why I'm here. Not that I fully lost that plan for my life, what I was preordained to be, but only just because I'm thrown off course. But I'm still here. My faith has kept me. I'm grateful for the Necharu, the Aku Ushepsu, for the Wa Orisha, for my Paut Necharu, my spiritual crew, as we call it, because they keep me. They have kept me through the darkest times. They have always been there. And through the light, of course, they are here. Brandon says, I've been that way for years, and with family who have helped to plant more seeds of doubt. It's terrible. Yeah, it's hard. It's very, very hard. This is also, though, why it's important to really know yourself, to stand strong in your own convictions, because It could be that, all right, you've gone away, but you've come back, but you are even stronger in your light as the light bearer. I've shared before how many of us are here as light bearers to point the way, to show the way, to be the guidepost for other family members to be able to evolve. And it's not going to happen if you're thrown way off course. So you can come on back to that place of Ma'at, harmonious balance in your life. Veki im ebi. I know myself. And the Kemetic water path, or the water tradition in general, if you are really living it right, means that you're going to allow yourself to look into the mirror, because water is a reflection, and take an honest assessment of what you see. And then also that means that you can pat yourself on the back when you really, really like what you see, because you know that you are in the right place. How many of you have found yourself dragged down by people who just don't belong in your life, or that you no longer want in your life, where you've surrounded yourself by the same kind of people who maybe you despised because maybe your family was living in a very low vibratory state, or still does. And even though you swore to yourself you were not going to grow up that way, you find yourself all up in it. Why? You have to make your will stronger so that you can break those negative patterns, so that you are no longer attracting to yourself all the negativity that you knew. Form a new way of being by surrounding yourself with people of a higher vibration, who have a higher goal set, and also who see the light in you and don't want to snuff it out. Some family members don't want you to be that good person of light because it reflects badly on them and makes them realize that they should change, or that they deep down want to change but don't know how. Therefore, they're not going to let you change. Oh, no, no. Your light is a threat to people who are insecure, who are doubtful, who are mean-spirited, who are happy wallowing in their muck, okay? Um, it's said that the negative aspect of Obatala, or Obatala, and in the Orisha tradition, he is the king of the white cloth, and he represents purity and goodness. He is the grand creator. And in the Kemetic tradition, it is Kenemu, or Kanu, who sits at the potter's wheel. Now, it is said that the negative aspect of a child of Obatala, or Obatala, is, instead of being super clean and wanting order, that they are all about chaos and they love being in their own smelliness, and they will let their hygiene go. They will let their home, the apartment, go. They'll just wallow in filth. And of course, when you have a lot of filth, then that doesn't attract anything but dark, dank, low vibratory spirits. No light is going to come unless you're reaching out for that light. But in terms of living in a high vibratory place, it ain't gonna happen. It's just not. So we have the king of the white cloth, who is luminous light, who now is just in filthy, tattered robes that stink. Okay, and the person desperately needs a bath and all kinds of other things going on. Okay, so, and then you surround yourself by other people who also love wallowing in that filth. No, you were born for greater than that. And that light can be relit so that you have a new spark to start your life over again. The next several messages that I'll be bringing over the coming weeks will deal with starting your life over. Many of us are in that place, and I'm here to take that journey with you. I'm already on it. You're not alone, and you're not lost, and you are worth it. You're worth it. If any of you need some help in being able to reunite with your divine higher self, with your sense of purpose, and if you know why you're here and need some help in fine tuning what that road is like for you, if you just feel completely lost and you don't know which is the road for you, but you want to know, if you want to learn from a Kemetic perspective about how to bring purity to your life, good intentions, good purpose, and good healing, then please feel free to reach out. I have reposted the website. For those of you who weren't here in the beginning, I shared how I had taken the site down for a while because I needed to just really focus on myself and the ministry and where it was going. And now it's back up, but you'll find the most current information, which is going to be transferred to the back to the old website. New information, but to the old website at my website at imaku.info / Shenu. What do I have? I think it's just Shenu. Yes. But even so, if you go to Imakhu, IMAKHU.info, you'll see the tab for Shenu Kemetic Waters Institute. We reclaimed living waters. This is sort of a wraparound ministry because of the fact that um, I'm all about building bridges and healing, but also as a scholar and as a person who's passionate about life and spirituality, and with all the paths that I've been on, I am always seeking the place of unification. Simatawi means unification of the two lands. Samait means reunion. But I'm always looking for that place where all of the spiritual systems converge. The Kemetic path is one where you will find that is the culmination of the of all of the traditions. It's beautiful, just amazing. Just as I told you that Kenemu is Obatala, there's so much more. And Shenu specializes in that. Those are the teachings that I specialize in. And the term living waters came from Kemet first. Wuchem Ankh is the term that means to be reborn or born again. And so very many other things that are in the tradition that just in the same way that I had said, that Sanaket said, who am I that thou art mindful of me? That came first out of Kemetic writings, okay? So if you're interested in that, please reach out to me. Visit. Right now, I'm going to advise you to go to imaku.info to reach out to me. And video classes are going to be posted there. I've been back and forth about this whole thing about doing a whole bunch of live classes, but number one, can't commit to that. I'm focused on getting the students that I have right now to the point of initiation. My very loving, loyal, dedicated students who I'm so grateful for. You find out who's the real deal as far as who sticks in it, who still comes and checks in on you, who is just waiting patiently as you work your way through your healing. And these students have seen me actually just hit like rock bottom. and have still been there because they understood that I was going through this healing process. That shows who real priests and priestesses are. The ones who do not abandon their teachers when they are dealing with their own challenges. And through the years when I had teachers, I saw them all the best of my teachers, all go through their stuff, where at some point they hit rock bottom because they were going through their own growth. Each one of them submit themselves humbly to various learning traditions, and to expand themselves. Each of them had their own unut 4-5, their own hour of darkness, before the coming of the dawn. And uh, it's one thing when you say, "Oh, well, I'm just here to learn. I'll come back later." When you get yourself back together, and then I'll come back. Well, really, if that's the case, then I'm really not interested in teaching you. I'm not. This ministry, Shenu, uh, is about healing. It is about restoration. It is also about compassion. And it is about the caregivers who are constantly putting out and taking care of those who are challenged in various ways, whether it is dealing with someone who is emotionally, physically challenged, mentally challenged, someone who is vulnerable, someone who is elderly. All right. It is knowing that you are the one who is uh, giving care, giving love, giving responsible decisions, in order to make this person's life, um, not only better, but also just to help them with just being here on the planet. That says a lot. Michael Ortiz Hill, Don Miguel Ortiz Hill, who initiated me into the Shona and Ndebele tradition as a Nanga, has several books that he has written, because he had written Blessings Upon His Memory. It's a year ago now that he's transitioned into the ancestral realm. But he has several books that he has written on caregiving. He was a nurse, and also about the importance for people who are challenged to be respected and to be given the kind of care that they deserve, simply because of the fact that they are here. So, also, I talk about the fact that Kenemu is one of our principal guardians in this temple, and so it's the same uh, concept with the children of Kenemu as for the children of Obatala. Obatala, in his story, in his Bataki, created mankind from the clay, and in this story, at some point when he's creating mankind, he gets inebriated. In some stories, some versions, they say the Eshu comes along and tempts him. And in others, it was just that it was so hot outside, and Obatala can't take the sunlight for too long, that he just started drinking to try to cool himself off, and then found that he was just knocked out drunk. Um, as he was drinking more and more, and he's creating, then the humans that he was creating started coming out differently, maybe missing limbs, the differently abled. So Obatala is responsible for them and for us, because as many of you know, I have epilepsy, and also I have Asperger's, and that's on the spectrum. I do have a lot of followers who are on the spectrum, and hey y'all. um, and I've had to deal with the reality of hearing loss that has come as a result of being a lifetime musician, but also that's tied in with the epilepsy, um, because it can create hearing loss. And although I have to say, this miracle did happen. Because this ear, the hearing in this ear I didn't realize just how much loss I'd experienced. When I got sick in February with bronchitis, the hearing just like diminished. And I gotta say, when I went through my initiation with the Haitian Vodun, on the next to last night, all of a sudden my ear popped open. And I was like, "Oh God, I can hear! Wow, I can hear! Wow, I didn't realize how much how much hearing I'd lost." And it said that during Vodun initiation, if you hang in there, then a miracle would happen. Well, that was my miracle. I got my hearing, a lot of it restored in this ear. This one, still praying about. But anyway, uh, back to the whole situation with people living with challenges. That's the other thing. In the next conversation, I'll be talking about the question that many practitioners of ATRs put out there regarding whether people who are differently able have a place in the ATR community, which is an ignorant notion, an outdated notion, and a shameful one. But there are a lot of people who do, people who are differently abled who want to get involved but feel as though they're not welcome because maybe they're in wheelchairs, maybe they're on crutches, maybe they have hearing problems and there's no one there to do any interpretation with sign language. So very many things that are not considered. I remember when I first started thinking about that, I wrote about it in my first book where a friend of mine got MS. And he used to be a powerful African dancer. Well, he was involved with this Ile. He was a very devoted member. And then he got MS. And the very temple that he had helped to build, this Ile that he had helped to build, and Ile is a temple in the Sheshe tradition. The very temple that he literally hung the door in and did construction on because he was also a carpenter, he was no longer able to access because it was on the third floor. And there was one time where brothers in the temple carried him up the steps, but just one time because they didn't want to be bothered. They didn't go by and visit him either. Uh, this is not the way that it should be. So I'll be talking more about that discrimination I've also faced. um, but the wisdom that comes from it is I'm able to share. And through sharing and education, then things can change. It's time for us to grow these traditions forward. Not everything that happened then applies to now because we are in a different age. And I'm always referring to the Kemetic axiom that talks about the importance of honoring the changes. Excuse me. Have the wisdom to abandon the values of a time that has passed and pick out the constituents of the future. An environment must be suited to the age and men to their environments. That is in the Great Temple of Karnak. A lot of wisdom is written on the walls there. And so, returning to the original focus of this Perank, this learning institution, this spiritual learning institution, we are really going to explore and also understand the importance of healing, the importance of really opening to differences and to change. Even though I got finished talking about what happened to Soniquette, um, he was exposed to different people, which expanded him, which was great. That's one thing that we can apply to ourselves, because we get so afraid of being able to open up, to explore other people and their differences, mainly because they'll make us feel uncomfortable. See, that's where you get a little bit too caught up in only having things a certain way. So if you have somebody who's in front of you who is in a wheelchair, but they've come to take your yoga class, which is what happened to me. That also made me aware of the fact that I needed to change my location. When I closed my space in 2016, one of the reasons that I decided not to renew the lease was because I had, I think it was about 6 or 7 steps that led downstairs in the building to where my studio was. And I had somebody who was in a wheelchair who was coming faithfully to take class. And the guards were kind enough in the front of the building to come wheel him down the hall, and wait for him there as he scooted down the steps. They brought the wheelchair down, helped him to get back in the wheelchair, and wheeled him to my door. That was great kindness. How many of us would do that? But it made me realize I need to be on a level where it's easy for somebody to just be able to wheel in or come in on crutches. Um, the accessibility aspect, that's highly important. So, okay, so now let us close with our communion, because it is the first Sunday of the month. Although we do communion every week, but in coming back, it was important for me to be able to come back on the very first Sunday, which is a blessing. How is everyone? Oh, some of you probably were thrown La Serena Imaku. Serena, La Serena. That is the mermaid, the water spirit. She's known in Haitian culture as La Serene. And so turns out she is who governs me. And so, I mean, I'm still Queen Mother Imaku, although I've wrestled with that, as you know, over the past few years. I don't want to be this person. How did I get this thrust on me anyway? I don't want this. But in accepting all of who I am, I must accept that that's who I am. So, oh, and my singing voice is back. My throat is healed from being in that toxic situation where I lived before, which basically was very quickly destroying my vocal cords. My vocal cords are healed. And I'm back in the recording studio, in fact, working on some new music, which has been a joy. Who's still there? Can you hear the meditation music? Talk to me. Talk to me. What are your thoughts? How are you feeling? Everybody okay? Is the music too loud? What's the balance like, as Yoma? Okay. Thank you, Ree. Well, yeah, in fact, before we do our Kesu, let's do a quick meditation. Okay. Is she almost good? Okay. All right. If you have your water, take a few sips. And close your eyes. Taking in deep breaths. Sadek is inhale. Nifa is exhale. Inhaling through the nostrils, exhaling out of the mouth. Sadek, Nifa. Sadek, Nifa. Sadek, Nifa. Relax your breathing. As I count down from 10 to 1, you'll leave the awareness of your room and enter into a space of comfort, of security and love on the higher planes as we prepare to unite or reunite with our higher selves. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're feeling light, etheric, in some place on the etheric realm. That is a place of joy, security, comfort. And as you are there feeling peace, serenity, you sit and imagine yourself on a cosmic cloud. Or if you're in a part of the etheric realm that looks like a sacred forest or a beach or whatever place is sacred to you, a temple, by a stream, as we hear water flowing right now, maybe in that conscious cosmic stream. You focus on tapping into your stream of higher consciousness, the place where your ka resides within is your higher self. Your higher self comes to you and you feel warm embrace, love. You're not afraid. Now is the time to ask your higher self who you really are. What is your purpose? Are you on purpose? Are you on task? Are you living out who you really are supposed to be? And if not, how to get back onto your path. Your higher self begins to mentally transmit into your being the memory of who you truly are. That being of light and of love and the purity of your soul and spirit. Your higher self tells you what will happen, the impact that you will have on others when you positively return to who you are supposed to be. And encourages you to live courageously in that place. You were gloriously made. In the Orisha tradition, the differently abled are looked upon as Obatala's mistakes, but not so in the Kemetic tradition. Kenemu creates from a place of purpose and intention, and knowing that all of our differences will help to build greater wisdom, compassion, insight, and ultimately unification, because he is the great uniter. See the positive changes that come because of your unique gifts. If you're using them in the wrong way, ask what you need to do. If you need help in stopping, releasing all of the negativity and welcoming the positive so that you are able to positively impact this world. And now your higher self, which is the most connected to the source, floods you with light. You are of light. You are of light. Anuk and Kut. I am of light. Say, Anuk and Kut. I am of light. Anuk and Mer. I am of love. Anuk and Mer. I am of love. Anki and Ma'et. I live in divine order, harmony, balance, reciprocity, and justice. Higher love. Anki and Ma'et. Anki and Ma'et. Your higher self assures you if you are in pain, if you have been hurt, if you have been victimized, place it in the hands of your higher self and your spiritual crew. Focus on getting back on task. Focus on your healing and ultimately being able to help others to heal. And being so enwrapped in being on purpose gets you to focus on who you are, what you are, and what you are doing, as opposed to focusing on and worrying about those who have hurt you. Live your best life. Move forward in love. Be the light. Sarek. Nifa. Sarek. Nifa. Sarek. Nifa. Relax your breathing. And now, prepare to leave this sacred etheric space. Bring the energy with you. Embody it, bringing it back into the present, in the presence of your room as I count down from 10 to 1. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes. Sadek, Nifa. Sadek, Nifa. Sadek, Nifa. Relax your breathing. How's everybody? Everyone okay? Hopefully you feel refreshed. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. Give thanks. And let's prepare to end with our Kesu, our communion, our Kemetic communion. Thanks. How's everybody? Talk to me, talk to me. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Rico. Well, thanks for the feedback. And yes, take time, drink your water, let yourself settle in, get rebalanced. Thanks, yes. Okay, I'm glad to know that. I'm glad to know that the message was meaningful for you, Brandon. Give thanks. It's hard living in this world. It is. It's a challenge. It's a huge challenge, and being able to be connected, reconnected. Wow. For those of you who want to take communion at your home, just to remind everybody, going forward, you can have a little piece of bread and a little communion cup, like so, with red beverage in it. Our meanings are different than the communion that people traditionally know. Okay, so I'm just taking another moment here. It's like it didn't post to Facebook, so I'm just posting, and let's share this. Okay, let me just share this. I've been recording popular songs or chants from various ATR traditions. It's gonna be my next CD. Give thanks. Okay, let me get to my page, please. Oh my goodness. This went to something else completely. Okay, here we go. Let's switch this. I want to lastly let you know that I'm doing a lot of work in bringing a sense of pride, of heritage in people who identify as Afro Latinx. And my new organization and brand, Magnificently Latinx, has launched. There's a Facebook page. I'm going to ask you to please join, Blacknificently Latinx. But then also uh, the temple page has undergone a name change, which is Shanu Comedic Living Waters. And those of you who are on it, where it was previously the Shanu Ashram online, the name has changed, but I'm going to ask you to please share. If you have not joined that, then please join that. It's been sitting in limbo for a long time because I was emotionally just not able to deal with it. Sticky, how are you? It's good to see you. It's good to see you. You good? You said you're out there, huh? Thanks. It's a joy to see you. So glad to see you. Yes. Okay. So we are going to, uh, okay, great. So this did post here. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. So time for communion. And I have to say, this is the first time that I was preparing to come on live and where I wasn't in a panic. How can I do this? I gotta do this, because usually it would be this thing of my taking at least a couple of hours to prepare. This time, the only listen, I was just very calm. I'm in this calm space. I really have carried a lot of anxiety over these last 7 years, and well, in life in general. But I mean, but especially, you know, um, over these last 7, 8 years, and I can see it now. And having more command over your energy, once you understand the source of your anxiety or anxieties or sources of your anxieties, and being able to start working on them, and begin the whole process of mastery. It makes a big difference in how you approach things. You know, some things are just not such a big deal. And if you're living in a place of constant trauma, you know, then you never really have a place to land. You're never really settled. And that becomes your coat that you're comfortable with. And you know, even though you feel yourself outgrowing the coat, still it's the coat that you've had. So when you realize I gotta throw this coat away, and you begin getting new garments, new, it feels wonderful, and you feel comfortable in that new space. And I've noticed that there have been other people who I follow on YouTube who also vanished for a while, and they just recently came back. I guess this is the season because they were taking the time that they needed for themselves. Same thing. It's necessary for all of you. It is necessary. You know, we're in a society where everything is go, 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 go. And I also came from a family where it was all about achieve, 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 achieve. But then at what cost? So please make sure you take the time um, for yourself and settle in yourself, and also be aware of how you feel, your anxieties, if you have any places where you may experience depression. Why do you feel the way that you feel? And if you need to do something about it. So yeah, today felt good. It was cool. Had a little glitch with the camera before. I was ready to go, and the camera was not connecting on the computer with the YouTube, the camera that I wanted to use. It's like, I'm not going to panic. Okay. All right. Said a little prayer also, you know, so I could connect with the electrical energy of the computer and the camera and bring everything into synthesis. And then it all came together. You got to stay calm and centered to do that. You know, you can't manifest in that way if you're in this state like this. All right. Kesu Huit Kerest. The sacred supper of Huit Kerest, known today as Eucharist, was created in ancient Kemet. The priests and priestesses of Osset, or Ast, honor the resurrection of King Asar and the resurrection of life. We all face personal levels of resurrection daily. As we learn the lessons of this life, we strive to grow and leave behind the old and unnecessary habits and behaviors and move forward into higher consciousness. The blood that flows through our veins is of our ancestors. Huit represents the DNA, the ancestral blood that reaches back into the beginning of time. In African culture, we refer to the river of ancestors. The blood, or senef, of our ancestors flows through each of us, as our blood will flow through future generations. It is an endless stream. As we call on the light and wisdom of our high ancestors, or Yaku, our blood becomes purified. As such, we are mindful of giving respect, Shaisha, to Senef, the blood. When we become spiritually awakened, we take our places within the awakened body of consciousness, Christ consciousness, Kerest consciousness. Kerest means the mummified remains or body wrapped in swaddling strips, death to the old. Yet spirit lives on. It has victory over death. We, in our spiritual growth, have victory over death and in life as we put emphasis on spirit and are not stuck in matters of the flesh and mundane. The bread, te, symbolizes the body or kerest. Hold up the bread. Repeat after me. Necheru, bless this bread of life. Semek necheru, meshet ankpen. I am the bread of life. Anuk mishet ank. I am the body of awakened consciousness. Anuk kerest. My body is sacred. Kati jaser. My spirit is of nature or God. Kani en Netcher. Thank you, Netcher. Dua Netcher. Wunem. Eat. Please hold up your cup. Repeat after me. Necharu, bless this blood of life. Necharu is our term for the divine, which means the limitless ones, the divine limitless ones. God, goddess, for lack of a better term. Netshur, Nechrut, a male female aspect of the divine. Necharu, bless this blood of life. Semek Necharu, Senef Ankpen. My blood flows from the river of ancestors. Senefi Sefsef Ni Im Iaku. Webi, purify me. Thank you, God. Dwa Nechir. Baba. Drink. Hold up your cup. This cup is also you. It is a sacred chalice. You, like the cup, are a sacred vessel. Be mindful of what you fill your life with. Your life is sacred. Repeat after me. I am a sacred vessel. Anuk Imaku. My life is sacred. Anki Jaser. Amen. 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 That concludes our service. If you want to know more, please reach out to me at 646-228-1185. Please text me. I don't answer calls that I don't know or that are not labeled. So text me first, and then I can call you back. And also, if you'd like to make a donation, you can reach out to me for that as well. And visit imaku.info as well as shenuwaters.info. Please, again, like and share here on YouTube, but also please go to the Facebook pages of Imaku, Facebook.com/Imaku, and then Facebook.com/ Shenu Comedic Living Waters. And then finally, also for support, I'd appreciate it if you also go to Facebook.com/Blacknificently Black. We have an event here in Newark coming up on November 21st in the main branch of the library, and that will be from 5 to 7 p.m. There's information that's posted on imaku.info, and within that, there's also the exploration of the ATRs as expressed through the Afro or African American lineage and the Caribbean. Okay. All right. So with that, I'm going to say Reswina Chem, which is sweet dreams, Geruna Fair, which is good evening, and then also Mkutemer, which is in love and light, and Heri, which means be at peace. It's been a joy being with you all tonight, and thank you so much for your love, for your time, and just know that you have someone who believes in you. Heri, be at peace.